because this is a convertible and they give us these really nice templates to cut everything out around the wheel tubs and make it fit, so when we put the new one in, it'll slide right in and tack it in and all of that. Well, being a convertible, where the back seat goes here is completely different. You look at the picture, there's a lot more wheel tub showing up in the front. We've got all of this bracing here. I'll do a couple of measurements to make sure. Maybe it just looks different because this bracing in the front there for the convertible top is making that hump look smaller. Maybe this seat goes right here, but I don't think that that is the case. So I'm going to do the best I can to remove this seat back by drilling the spot welds out, and same thing for the bracket for the convertible top, and get that all taken apart, cut out. We'll slide the new tub in and just keep whittling and fitting. It looks like both the convertible top and the seat back both have a separate bracket that's welded to it. So hopefully I can cut that loose from the bracing and still use that bracket, relocate it where it needs to be. So I guess we'll just keep going. We've changed the plan up a little bit. This is the pile we have cut out of the back of the car so far. We had to meticulously cut these little package tray areas out. The kit that we got from DSE to do the rear end was designed for a hardtop sedan. They didn't really make anything for a convertible. So those were extra pieces that needed to get cut out that aren't in their directions. We got the original wheel tubs cut out and out of place up to where the frame rail was. I had a little concern of how much of the frame rail we had to cut out to get the tubs in, but with their quadrilink setup, they replaced this inner frame section anyway. So unfortunately, they sent me 2 driver sides. So when the both actual parts show up, I'm gonna get to that. So while we're waiting for that stuff to happen, we are going to get to the skins on these quarters. I've got a brand new skin over here. I believe it was good marked, not sure. I marked off the 3/4 inch with a piece of yellow tape. So that should be really close to matching what we've got cut out of the original, within an inch or two. I'm gonna fine tune it while we start getting it welded in. But everything is patched up underneath. All of the rust repair is done underneath this fender area.
Here, I pick it.
Everything is rust coated now, so it won't re-rust. I rebuilt the outer inner fender, which is a part we're not replacing, and added new drop downs for the trunk back there. So we're gonna go ahead and get those cut, start fitting these skins on here, and then we'll start working on the back end and the lights. We got a lot of work done done on the 63 Nova Convertible SS project over the last few days. The quarter skins are now on, welded up in their forever home, so all that repair work is done. We got the doors hung. They still need a little adjustment, but on the lift I can't open the door up all the way to get to it, so we'll have to get to those a little bit later. We've got the skin done on the driver's side as well. It's all tack weld in, all the repairs underneath are done, and we did eliminate the gas hole over here. So we'll show you where you're gonna put the gas in this thing later. It'll be pretty cool. The tubs are eliminated at this point, and the ones you're looking at in the center there are 2 inches wider. Those are from DSE. All of the parts for that stuff did show up this morning, so I am going to start getting all of the framework in there, cut these subframe structures out, and get these bigger tubs put in this thing. So yeah, it should be a pretty fun day. Passenger side mostly buttoned up here. We got the inner tub from DSE is set in place. It's just got it clamped, and self-tapping screws holding it in place right now, but the frame rail is fully welded in its location. There's a gap up here that I'm assuming has something to do with the convertible. I think they had to move that pinch weld over a little for the soft top mechanism to go in and out, so I'm gonna have to do a little messing around, hammer and dolly, and fill that gap in, bring that pinch weld over. But before I do that, I want to finish getting this other side in. This is the new cross member they give you. It's like step one in the kit, cutting that piece of trunk out and welding that in. That is fully welded up above. So next thing we're going to do is get this driver side frame rail up into place. I got the inner piece all set, clamped in place to redo the inside of that frame rail. Got the flange done up on this side. So let's go ahead and get that welded up. Alright, here's the tub all installed over here on the driver's side. We cleaned up that back edge. Got all the rust and replaced all the pieces up in there. There was very minimal. And then I made a panel for this front section. There was a panel on there originally, but by the time we drilled the spot welds, it was junk, and this one just fits and looks a lot better. Right now, I am making a filler panel because the lip on the inside of the convertible is different than that on the hardtop sedans on these 63 Novas. So the mechanism would normally hit this pinch weld if it was where it was in the sedan. So I'm making this little panel right here, and this is going to fill the gap left between the DSE tubs and the old car.
Wait, I'll go under here. Ta-da!
These are the brackets we cut off of the rear fenders that go up to attach the bracketry for the rear trunk hinges. So they said just to cut it out with the tub. So I'm going to go back in and drill out these spot welds and get the bracket loose and get that old chunk of inner fender off, or tub off, and take a hammer and dolly, straighten these out, get them ready so that we can get them welded in place. Usually doesn't go that easy. It is finally time to get under here and finish putting the last couple brackets on. I've got a couple brackets that go from this section over to the frame on both sides. I have a panhard bar bracket to put in up here, and then we have some sections over here, like some little torque box sections and stuff that have to go up, I believe, in this area here for the lower links to weld in. So let's get to it. This is where we stand now. All of the bracketry is in for the DSE so that we can hang that awesome Gear FX 12-bolt rear end in here now. Ground all of the welds down smooth. Went back with seam sealer, sealed up all the seams, so this thing is good, watertight. We shouldn't have to worry about water getting anywhere we don't want to. The inner tubs are done. You can see a little bit of the welding where the brackets were welded up on the outside. The little lower filler panel that I made on each side here to close up that front gap. The old tub and the new tub are sealed together with seam sealer. So I'm going to run around with the DA, knock the last little bit of crustiness off of this lower pan and the frame rails that I can reach, and then I'm going to go ahead and coat all of this with a primer. So I am going to get these pans out of the way. We're going to cut the rusty old floor out, get these tacked in, then I can attach all of the framework underneath to the new floors.
FBI, open up!
Grabbed a sheet of 18 gauge already to do this, but I'm gonna go ahead and cut this whole piece out. Alright, well, this mess is significantly deeper than we thought it was. We are getting really close. We are just about back to where I was hoping we were going to be. I thought I was just going to have to rebuild and replace this one outer panel here on the front, but once we got that off, there was another rotted piece, another rotted piece, another rotted piece. So now that we are finally back to where I thought we were going to be a couple days ago, I can finish getting these floor patches put in, get those welded into place, and then I can go underneath and actually box in this area here right over to the outside rail and get that done. Here's my piece. Got a little bit of messing around with the hammer and dolly to get this corner laid down tight where I want it, but it's all drilled. Everything lines up with the bracing underneath. So I'm gonna go ahead, start beating, banging, and get this thing tack welded in nice and tight, and then we will repeat on the driver's side. Okay, we got the framework all together on the 63 Nova. There is a huge section boxed in over here by the rockers that is a convertible only kind of a setup. So we use the DSE torque boxes to tie into that in the back, and then up front we cut out this plate on our arc droid on bender, and that will tie all of the front frame section together. So this thing should be nice and stiff and handle beautifully. Last thing I've got to do today, once we get the car down, is finish welding in this floor section. I'm going to leave the center loose in case we need some more room for the tunnel when the motor gets here. But yeah, that's where she's at. We are finally ready to get the car up in the air, bring that front end and rear end in, start getting this thing assembled, and can start torching this firewall out. That is all beautiful up here and repaired. We've got the floor all spot welded in, repaired, seam sealed. Like I said, we left that center strip out. I didn't weld that together on the tunnel in case we need to make a little more room there. I can push that up and stretch it a little and fill in the gap in the middle if we need the tunnel a little larger. Other than that, it is time. So I'm going to get this thing up in the air and start bringing the suspension parts in here.
Gotta make the noise.
Room.
That is not the right noise.
I've got a bunch more of the DSE kit laid out here. So let's start all over again.